Senator from Clay, what purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Madam President. Speak on the bill.
Please proceed.
Madam President, I think my colleague, Senator from Clark, is taking the wrong interpretation of what this bill does. There is not the question being posed as to whether or not to expand Medicaid. It is just that it should be a legislative-driven decision versus an executive branch decision. And I do agree with the senator from Clark that there was a statute passed many, many years ago. I hate to say this, probably long before anybody else in this chamber was here except maybe one. But the reality is that was done in a period of time that we met on a semi-annual or a biannual basis. And you gave the executive branch the latitude necessary to make determinations under that statute to determine whether it was feasible to put up state dollars to match and draw down federal dollars into the program. Now, what Senate Bill 39 does is what I believe this Constitution is framed around. Does it mean by passing Senate Bill 39 we're saying accept it, don't accept it? No. It goes back to where we delegated the power to, and I say we, many years ago, this legislature, this institution delegated the power. But this is a large, broad, wide-sweeping initiative. And the discussion should be had. The hearing should be held. Not only does the issue that the senator from Clark brings up about the military, but there is also potential cost savings at the local level to jail inmates in the county's facilities. There is what has happened to us on many occasions, the opportunity to see programs ramped up where there is a match. And then after we get it started, the federal government pulls their participation and we're caught picking up all the costs. This does not say that we do or do not expand Medicaid. It says it should come back to the legislature so we can have hearings, we can have discussions, we can see what all the implications, ramifications, and if accepted, possibly even the economic impact on this state and what will happen to our budget. I have heard, I can't vouch for that if there is an expansion, there will be $2 billion of tax money coming from the federal government. Well, it may not be us who is picking up the tab as within the context of our budget, but it will be the taxpayers of this state and all 50 states picking up that cost. But we also have another implication of that. And this is why I think it is important that we, as the policy-making institution, look at this issue and see what the appropriate policy is for the executive branch to then execute on. Because if there is a $2 billion infusion of money into this economy, what does it mean in the way of new and additional tax revenues to this state? So this is not a discussion about whether we do or don't. It is whether we have the discussion at all. And I believe that we need to have that discussion. So that's why I think the members should support Senate Bill 39. Thank you, Madam President. First, I wanted to do this to make a statement about the rules. When the votes have been cast, when you cast your vote, if you read the rules, I understand it, you may explain your vote or cast it and then explain, but after the vote has been cast, you can only change your vote, not explain it. So since I did not vote, I feel I'm within the rules of changing my vote and explaining, which is in conformity. So I will cast an aye vote. With that, Madam President, I appreciate the comments that have been made here. And I understand where the senator from Clark is coming from. And I am well willing to start the debate. As to any type of conclusion, it would be premature to make that because, as the senator from Carter spoke, there are much broader implications as to what happens with the covering of our health care for those individuals that are in our current correction system. There is potential infusion into our tax base that no one has considered. There is the potential of loss of this funding 3 years from now if sequestration takes place. There are a lot of issues, both positive and negative. There is the theory that the senator from Scott brings forth that it is a tax dollar. Either this tax dollar or a tax dollar considered from the federal taxes. And the senator from Fayette 13, I understand that we differ. And she holds her values true, and I appreciate that. We're different. So let's have the discussion on how we differ. And we can do that in a way that is productive, but also congenial and collegial. But in this, from a purist standpoint, I feel the General Assembly made a mistake many years ago. And I go back to this group is the policy-making body in conjunction with the House. And I feel it is time that we make a statement that we need to be setting the policy and the executive branch executing on that. And to say that I believe otherwise is not true to this record. Because, as I tell my good colleague, the senator from Boone, don't believe me, don't believe them. I have come in here and made a statement and have followed up on that statement. It is the prerogative of the executive branch to reorganize. It is the prerogative of the executive branch to nominate for confirmation those individuals they feel should be in place to execute, to help the branch execute. And we are not stopping those. We are taking them up and dealing with them in due course. And I believe that is the biggest indicator that on a separation of powers issue, which this is, this body is honoring that. Thank you, Madam President.